Welcome to the Ultimate Landscape CEO podcast. Welcome to 2024. What a crazy year we've just had, and what an exciting year we're going to have here. I'm really excited. I would like to kick off with some thoughts on lessons that we've learned in 2023. I look back through all my notes, all my coaching clients that I'm working with, the 140 some odd peer group members we have in our owners peer groups, the Leader's Edge, and our high impact second in command peer group. Really, we have a huge brain trust, way over $500 million in revenue represented in our groups. Really proud of these entrepreneurs. And, I learn from them. They learn from me. The groups learn from each other. And if you're not learning, you're dying, right? I'm really surprised how much I learn every 6 months. Even when I look back 6 months, constant learning journey, reading books, listening to podcasts, observing my clients and seeing the trends. And so I've observed them and our industry in depth for the past 12 months. Here's 7 lessons I see that we've learned from this past year that we have to keep applying this year. This is not one and done learning, but this is what you really have to keep applying. By the way, we are starting a new high impact peer group. It's called the Empire Group. It's meeting March 4th in person, and we're doing a kickoff in February. So if you're thinking of joining a group, we have just a couple spots left. Get onto our website, apply. You will not regret it. It is life changing. Okay, lesson number 1. Pay heed to cybersecurity. Oddly, you didn't read about this, and you don't read about it a lot in the landscape industry journals. I wonder why. I'm going to have to put a bug in their ear, because this has been such a huge issue. I have seen it across all my peer groups, companies getting hacked, and the hackers are a lot more devious and patient than they were in the past. It is no longer just a numbers game. They're also dialing in on learning your company and what emails they need to hack or copy. They're even copying, how do I say this? They're even copying URLs and making up fake URLs. They're pulling out loans in your names. They're being very patient. And so you have to make this a number 1 priority for 2024. You need good cybersecurity insurance. Whoever's running your IT needs to be an expert in this, and you might need to look into who you have running your IT. One of the biggest lessons we've learned is every weak link in your company is a weak link in your entire hacking cybersecurity strategy. And so you need training. You need to pay to get your team trained so that you really know how to, so that everyone really knows what to do and what not to do. There's a lot you can learn from them. You'll learn some of the low-hanging fruit things to do. One of my clients got hacked while on a trip for one of our peer groups, and we learned that everyone should be using VPN when they're on some kind of public Wi-Fi. So there's a lot you need to pay attention to. If you haven't been hacked, you will be. That's my promise to you. And so make that a priority for 2024. The second lesson I have seen is the use of AI and technology. Of course, we all know about it, right? This has not been a secret. And ChatGPT, all my clients are using for even simple things like writing emails. A study has been done that shows that AI is leveling up the B players and even the C players, leveling up these people. And so these are really tools that can help not just your A players, but everybody in your organization to do a better job. But you need A players in your organization to learn and tech savvy leaders to learn which new tools you should choose. There's so many, and there's going to be a myriad of them this year. They're going to flood the market, and you can't choose every one. And so you need a good strategy for looking at these technologies and making choices. I've also seen another lesson of this past year is that even the normal non-AI technology like your software, I have seen that companies just are not implementing deep enough and consistently enough. You're buying software, but you're not getting the buy-in to your software with everyone in your company, and you're not going deep enough to make use of that software. And so that's really a big opportunity, is making sure that you have people responsible on your team to constantly dig in and learn more about the software and make sure that it's implemented in your company, whichever softwares you are choosing, whether it's an operational software or Microsoft Teams or yada, yada, yada. So while it looks easy to figure out which technology you should make use of, it is going to take somebody to own this and thoughtfully pay attention to it, even during the busyness of your season. The third lesson I have seen and taken this past year is that your residential business is worth something too, right? It's just not only the commercial companies that are now getting bought up and catching attention of private equity and people are looking to buy, but also the residential. And we're going to see that increase as more money starts chasing after residential. And so I think that's good news for our entire industry and for the market. You should, however, always be looking to grow your recurring revenue, whether you're commercial or residential. And install is great. It can bring maintenance clients and recurring revenue. It can bring cash flow. But the more you can do to make your install look like it's recurring, the better off it is for your value. Now, is your business saleable at all? I'm a believer in making your business saleable so that you as an owner aren't only working as an operator, but you're also working as an owner. And by making that transition, you're making the company day to day less dependent on you. And that raises the value, raises the productivity, and probably makes your team happier as well, as long as you aren't disappearing, right? There's sort of two extremes. One where the owner is in everything and micromanaging and making a mess. And the other is where they've disappeared and the company is missing that constant vision and energy that the owner brings up. Obviously, it's a balance, but making your business more saleable, even if you're not going to sell it, will 9 out of 10 times help you run a more productive business. I talked to one person who's buying companies, and he quoted that he sees commercial at a 4 to 7 times cash flow EBITDA, right, and residential at 3 to 5. But those were just some numbers given to me in a conversation. And of course, I've heard of some people paying more, and I've definitely heard of people paying less when the owner is desperate or very small. And so if you're thinking of selling, do not do it out of desperation, but do it through preparation. And if you're buying, realize that there's not one price to pay for different companies out there. And so you take what I've just said and learn to negotiate, finding out what the seller really wants. But big picture, residential is worth value too, and that value will increase. Good news for the industry. Lesson number 4. I've seen that companies have to relearn how to market and sell. They've gotten lazy. The COVID boom, the pandemic boom is over. The gold rush is over. And it was a hard year, even for my clients. Hard year. Many had their best year ever. And yet it just felt like a very difficult year this past year for almost everybody. And I think most people are just glad it's over. Let's shut the door in 2023 and focus on 2024. But you've got to really take marketing and selling a lot more serious. I'm sure you've already learned that. DIY marketing is not the way to go. You may have done that in social media, but the real movers and shakers are taking or hiring in professional marketing. They are learning themselves to understand marketing at a higher level. It really should be your expertise. You've heard me say this every few years. And so I'm coming back to the same drumbeat that I started off my entire consulting career on 16 years ago, which was on learning how to be a better marketer. I started off with that particular focus, and I'm coming back to it. And it's as true today as it was way, way back then, if not truer. So don't just focus on DIY. Don't just focus on referrals. If you're only taking advantage of referrals, then you haven't learned how to market. You haven't learned that skill. Having said that, there's many things you can do to drive referrals. I'll be doing an upcoming newsletter on that topic because there's a lot you can do to make referrals happen proactively. And so all that needs to be happening in marketing. And you also need to learn how to sell, and because you can't just do your order taking and cherry picking. And selling means making sure your salespeople are good at selling when it comes to the actual process of overcoming objections and discussing price up front and getting to the client's needs quickly and moving them along that process without dropping them along the way. Sales training may be in order. Upgrading your sales team may be in order. Looking at the sales intake process, it's very easy to make mistakes on that very first step where you lose clients or don't close clients quick enough because of how your intake process works. In fact, if you could fix that one part, the tip of the spear of your sales process, you can greatly impact your closing ratio, your sales, your margins. And so this should be a year where you're continuing to implement improvements in marketing and sales that you've hopefully started on in 2023. Number 5, the fifth lesson is investing in real talent. Let me give you my talent rule. The talent rule is that those companies with the best talent will rule. And the best talent doesn't mean from the green industry. It means from any and all industries. And so the real winners that we saw in 2023 are those that are investing outside the green industry to bring in top skills in management or marketing or sales or what have you, because the green industry is just a sliver of the entire workforce. And if we're only focused on you have to have come from the green industry, well, first off, that can bring a lot of baggage, and second off, that's just a small sliver of the whole workforce. So stop comparing yourself with the local landscaper and instead compare yourself with the top regional moving and shaking, high-flying companies in general in your region. And that's the kind of talent that you want to bring into your company. And that's the lesson we've seen work in 2023, and it will continue in 2024. Number 6, work harder on your relationships at the top. Yes, you've brought in the talent. Now what? Hiring the right talents is just half the battle. But getting the most out of your team, that's the key to speed and success and nimbleness. Getting the most. How do you get the most? You really deepen your strategic relationships at the top. Deep, honest, radical, one-on-one and team-based conversations where you're honest about your strategy, your processes, the way you've got roles divided, hard on the process, hard on the strategy, hard on the key roles, and spend enough time so you can be kind to the people, right? Hard on the process, kind with the people. That type of deepening relationship amongst your top leaders, and that takes time, right? You can't rush your meetings. You can't have meetings just focused on tactics and a particular client, right, or a particular employee. But you've really got to get beyond that and get things worked out and be hard on these things, but deepen those relationships. That's going to help you become the winner that you need to become, that you should become, that you have every right to become. I will say using a facilitator like myself pays huge dividends. I mean, I lead strategic planning. I had a team over here at our setup here in my home office. It's really a retreat center. It's set up that way, and we had a Great Lakes Landscape Design. We had their team here for I think it's the fourth time that they've brought their team here on an annual basis. And we still uncovered blind spots in the company and these huge ahas that went off where I know the team went back with, they already had their budget done and even their strategy fleshed out. But it's when you bring in someone from the outside to poke in the, peek and poke and prod, that's really what will strengthen the relationships of your team. And so you've got to have someone who's doing that for you to get your team stronger, but also strategically focused laser focused in the right direction. So that's the lessons I've seen play out in this past year that will continue this year for sure. Number 7, get a better handle on your numbers. Now, I'm always hitting that drumbeat. If you follow me, I'm a fan of numbers. We just held our financial masterclass. That was our 4th annual financial masterclass, a virtual masterclass where we benchmarked tens and tens and tens and tens of different benchmarks. This is the most comprehensive in the industry. And oh my God, what a learning event that was. One thing we learned there, by the way, was that while growth slowed down last year compared to the year before, margins went up. And so you should always be looking to get the most out of your numbers, even for those of you that may have had some hiccup in your revenue, and a bunch of sectors out there and geographic areas did. And so you've got to get a better handle on your numbers. And the reason this is lesson number 7 is that it really came from an observation from internally in my team where we said, man, we're just surprised at how many companies out there, even in the $5 million range, sometimes the $10 million range, just don't have a strong handle on their financials. And they're not really holding their team accountable to those financials and to KPIs. The only way you'll achieve greatness is through that accountability to financials and to KPIs. And so I think that could be the overarching lesson. It is the overarching lesson that I'm taking into 2024 is accountability you've got to be very skilled at it up and down your company, certainly throughout your leadership team and then the next level down, but ultimately all the way down your organization. That is the tip of the spear that's going to lead you into a successful 2024. Now, those are 7 lessons from this past year. Let me give you predictions for 2024. Here's 10 predictions. Number 1, we're going to see continued interest in residential companies, selling, buying. Like I just said, there's an increased interest, and I'm seeing a lot of my clients. I'm working with a lot of my clients to build their businesses through strategic acquisitions. There's many good reasons that you can be bringing on small and medium-sized companies to fill strategic needs or build out strategic areas in your business, not just because you have the ambition and want to do it, but based on hitting your company's vision and mission, there's definitely reasons to do that. So I expect that will keep growing in 2024. That's my prediction number 1. My prediction number 2 is that the magazines will finally make cybersecurity a big topic in their magazines. My prediction number 3 is, for as big as ChatGPT was last year, AI is going to be the theme for 2024. You're going to see it proliferate not only into the major softwares that you might be buying and running your business on, but also as these separate standalone apps. Prediction 4. I think a new operational software will come out. Don't know if it's 2024, 2025, but we're going to see, with every 5 years, you see a game-changing approach to software. And we've seen that. We've even seen it with the internet, right? Internet 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. And I think we're going to see it with an operational software. Something big will come down the pike. Number 5, we're going to see client service back in a big way. We're going to see more discerning clients. We're going to see clients demanding better service and even switching if they can't get that service that they need. Owners, homeowners, companies, they're under pressure to perform, or they're under pressure to get the most out of their dollar. And so the ability to service your client, I think, is going to lead to either better retention from you, or you're going to get caught because you've been coasting and lazy. Lazy is a tough word, but definitely coasting. The company I had that just came, I mentioned that we did our 4th strategic planning. We made customer service the major theme of that strategic planning. And we said, what are the holes in all of our areas of our company that somehow impact the customer experience and the customer result? And with that lens, we found all kinds of holes in the company that we built strategies around to plug those holes. And this is a company that has excellent client retention. They're just planning ahead. How do we compete in 2024? So you're going to see this as a big topic in 2024. Prediction number 6. We're going to see the talent rule get applied even more fiercely, where more non-landscape talent is going to be entering our industry. Sure, you're seeing it with the largest companies. And yes, you're seeing it with private equity bringing in professional managers. But I'm now advocating for all my clients to be doing this across the board. And so I think you're going to read more about it in the magazines, and you're going to see it as a trend for 2024. Trend number 7, DIY marketing. I think you're going to see fall backwards and professional marketing step forwards. When I work with my clients, I always have a short list of professional marketers I'm recommending, and even professional CRMs if your operational software doesn't have one. And I think we're going to see the rise of professional marketing also tied in with AI, and that will make these more professionally run companies that are doing professional marketing that much more competitive. Prediction number 8, this is sort of for fun, but my job is not going out of style. I will not be replaced by AI because your desires are always evolving. Your dreams are always evolving. Your company's evolving. Your leadership team is growing and evolving. And achieving dreams really is not something you delegate to a computer, no matter how smart it is, but it's really with a partner in crime. And so I see continued need definitely for what I bring to the market. Prediction number 9 for 2024. We're going to see savvier financial people in the industry, savvier managers, savvier salespeople who understand their numbers better. They understand what that means, what profit per hour means, what hitting margin means. They understand why it's important. They're using tools better, operational softwares to manage financially. And so I think we're seeing it because there's better tools. We're seeing it because of people like me and my organization beating the drum. We're seeing it because there's more financially savvy company owners. I'm seeing continually more company owners that come out of finance, studied it in college, maybe went off and did it as a first career or not, and then saw what a great industry we have. And so from different angles, the bar is being risen in terms of managers and salespeople being able to make decisions with savvy with financials in mind. Prediction number 10, automation is going to move beyond mowers. Mowers has been the topic, I would call it the topic of 2022 and 2023, right? Self-driving, autonomous mowers. And we're really going to see it with other equipment. And so I'm going to give you an 11th prediction here that's tied into that. We're going to see new kinds of landscape companies emerge. I've just done a podcast, recorded one with Electric Sheep, which is really integrating. They're not landscapers, really. They're technical geniuses and landscapers combined to form a company where they're going to bring AI and build a platform around that, while also buying and bringing companies, landscape companies together. So we're going to see this confluence of the Internet of Things, AI, cloud coming together with the green industry and other innovations, and new kinds of landscape companies will emerge. Keep your eyes open for this. And I think that's sort of connected to prediction number 10, that we're going to see automation move beyond just mowers. I think we'll start to see it in all kinds of facets of our business. Right now you have to write a proposal. Pretty soon AI will do that for you. That'll be automated. I'm sure of it. Many different parts of your job in the office, but I think also in the field will become automated. And we'll see that increase in 2024 and beyond. So there you have it. There's my take on 2023. There's predictions for 2024. Like I said, if you're interested in getting involved in my community, joining our peer groups, they're very high impact. We have a new group starting from March 4th to 6th. We have some spots in our old groups as well, our other groups. We have some new benchmarks that we're going to be introducing into our peer group community to make them leaders. So I'm very excited about this. So it's going to be a great year. Everybody I've talked to is excited. Sure, there's a lot of concern about what's upcoming, right? You've got different wars happening. You've got the war between our Republicans and Democrats. God, I just wish we could make these guys stop fighting each other and make it a law where they had to get work done. And if not, God bless all of us. So one wish I have is that we force our politicians, whoever we vote for, to get work done. Stop the fighting internally, and let's look at what's going on outside in the world, and let's get our act together. So there's definitely concern for what's going on outside in the world, and how the election year sometimes destabilizes the economy, or puts it on pause, let's say. But so much innovation and excitement in the industry, and especially as companies realize that there's so much in their control that they can do to gain market share and gain efficiencies, that I'm just excited for this year, and I'm excited to be here with you on this journey. So stay tuned to this podcast. And if you want to follow my newsletter, go to jeffreyscott.biz. You can sign right up. It's right there on the homepage. Looking forward to spending this time with you. See you soon.